What happens when a constellation of climbing superstars lights up a random local competition? Alongside two Olympians, there's also Maximilian, an absolute beast on competition-style problems. The women's field was equally stacked: Futaba Ito, the youngest Japan Cup winner ever, Fanny, a 6-time French champion, and Chloe, who has dominated Belgium with 11 national titles. This isn't your ordinary local comp. It's chaos, it's genius, and a lesson in how to cheat failure. Let's break it down. Bold would be an understatement for the first two boulders. The men faced a boulder with two crazy huge moves, while the women faced a dynamic set that challenged every expectation. Let's jump right into M1, 6 climbers, 6 unique swings. Paul and Jules swung with their left arm, Max on his right arm. Elias and Anton used both arms. And Hannes added a twist by only releasing his right hand on the final swing. So much variety in techniques: wall kicking, wall pushing, knee kicking, and body pivoting. But why did some fail while others succeeded? As many of you know, Max is a pro at dynamic and coordination moves. He even did an arguably harder version of this climb before, so unsurprisingly on his first attempt, this happened. Wait, what? I would never have expected to witness such a big struggle from him. Let's dive deep into some of his failed attempts. He might be a bit too good at jumping. This is super obvious in this attempt. Pay attention to the height he gets after landing on a triangular volume, compared to these successful attempts where they did the tiniest hop to get just enough height to reach the jump. While it is obvious that a smaller jump was sufficient, I don't know how exactly a larger jump was hurting his attempts. Now that was crazy, but equally insane is this next move. You're telling me they have to go from here to here, exploding off this no-text foothold? Paul Jenft latched both hands with his left hand almost dead center. As he whips to the top hold, his left hand floats to the right side of the hold. Compared to Anton's hand placement, look at how his left hand is more to the left, which works okay when his body is on the left. The problem comes when his body swings to the right, and the momentum he carries is in the same direction as his left hand, which makes it less effective. Versus Paul, when his body moves right, he can still load vertically and even slightly rightwards because his grip point is more neutral and downward loading. The first move for Women's 1 looks so incredibly fun, you will want to try it just from watching it. And who better to watch than Agaf, demonstrating one of the most mesmerizing ways to absorb a bandor. First thing to notice, after she brings her left leg up, she brings her left arm up super fast. Small left leg hop while locking her left arm, and at a new foot position, she pivots around her left foot. Perfect. But we are not done. As right leg swings back, she uses this residual momentum and reaches for the next hold in perfect balance. In just 3 seconds, she executes a complex coordination move, absorbs the barn perfectly, and flows to the next position. Now this was cool, but then there's downright badass. Instead of the quick step up beta, Naile adjusts her left palm further right and pushes up to a human flag. She almost lost it as she helicopters. Now on the next attempt, she did lose to the helicopter and landed on her back. That's when she made a superb adjustment. She's like, you know what, I'm not gonna tire myself out or risk landing on my back again. A quick swoop in to match and much better stability. Now, Lily had a completely different sequence for the start, bringing her left leg up first, before doing a more direct sideways dyno. On her first try, she didn't quite get the timing, but watch the magic when she does get it. She carries her momentum with perfect timing and was the only one who flowed like this to the jump. Agaf was really consistent with the first part, but kept slipping after landing the lache. Can you spot the differences in the ending positions? Fanny carried more leftwards momentum, and when she lands, she guides her momentum leftwards. Her right leg does slip too, only difference being when she slips, her center is already balanced on her left leg, so she doesn't fall. Also, height. Fanny and Lily coaxes downwards too. On slabs, this isn't critical, but for any incline, being low gives you more space. Imagine being on a ledge. If you stand tall, the wall pushes you out and you're gonna fall. If you crouch and fit yourself in this hold, stable. Futaba qualified first, and unsurprisingly on her first attempt, she did this.
That was why.
Okay, I lied. This was very surprising. Just from the swing, we can already kinda tell that the trajectory is way off. But if world-class climbers can throw themselves at crazy beta and risk looking totally ridiculous, what's stopping you from giving it a try? Because we're not world-class climbers. For the second problem, delicateness is the name of the game. Let's break down these razor-thin margins where every micro detail makes all the difference. The start of M2 was super delicate, with no text everywhere and holes that aren't holed.
And this first hold again from the men's, there's no texture on it, so I don't know what he's holding onto, but it's just there for decoration really. It's not there for any support.
All displayed his French slap flair. Let's break down two of his attempts on the first crux move. He kinda did everything the same, started with bent legs, shifted his weight from the left to the right, and at the last second decisively pushing off the left foot. So why did he fall here? Here's my theory, involving a mistake almost all of us has made before. Often, we simply focus on the wrong thing. The next hole is a no-text upward-facing sloper, and it's all the way over there. Naturally, we may think, I want to go to that hole and press it. But if you focus on the hold itself, you might have attempts that look like this. You do reach the hold, but your position is kinda off and you peel away. Instead, if you take a step back and think about the best position for pressing that no-text sloper, weight above your right foot, face, chest, hips flush to the wall, and the hold right above your head, barely within sight. You will realize the best position gives you a poor view of the hold, and that if you can see the hold clearly, your position is off. Hey everyone, super pumped to show you the new and revamped design for our float-in shirts. We've been working on this redesign for a while and I'm honestly so happy with how it turned out. Softer premium fabric, a more flattering fit and expanded color options. Here's the deal, add 2 shirts to your cart and shipping is completely free. Perfect chance to grab one for yourself and surprise someone special in your life. Thank you all for your amazing support. I want you to know that these shirts are way more than just merch to me. I am personally committed to delivering something you will love wearing, which is why if you spot any print issues or visible quality concerns, we'll replace your shirt or provide a full refund. Your happiness with what you receive actually means a lot to me. Okay, back to the video. For guys not as lanky as Paul Jenft, they had to scoot their left foot up. This is better as they are able to generate from a less stretched position. But worse, because this second foothold is nearer to the wall, giving them less freedom to move. Refer to this professional drawing for a better understanding. This competition brings back the 4 minutes plus format, where climbers are free to finish their attempt after 4 minutes as long as their feet are off the ground before the 4 minutes mark. Paul started his last attempt with 30 seconds to go and spent almost 2 full minutes on the wall, matching his hands 5 times before committing to the last hole. Bam, he gets the crimp perfect. Right as he gets his left foot on, the right foot slips and his right hand slides down. This would have ended most climbers' attempts, but Paul is crimping the bottom edge of this block crimp for dear life. He flex his right foot high, eyes down the crimp with the most intense stare, and goes for the match as his leg shakes uncontrollably. Just as his left hand reached the hole, his right hand slipped, and his 2-minute-long attempt was over. So close and yet so far. Max and Hannes did something super exciting and inspiring. For most of us, when falling, we look down to spot our landing, but for them, it's not over until it's really over. Oh, I'm falling, but I'm not on the mat yet, so hell no, I'm not giving up. Next hole jug and within reach, let's go! Hannes and Paul try a beta that might surprise you. The end hold is on the right. We are going from the left. Obviously, we should hold the pocket with our left hand, right? Well, crossing can be an excellent choice sometimes. For one, it's much more ergonomic on the wrist in the end position. But to land the move with a cross, they have to reach the position static. Any excess momentum is unrecoverable because the end crimp faces the same direction as the jug. And with the sheer distance and uncomfortably high foot, they had no choice but to revert back to the uncomfortable Gaston wristy pull. So next time, facing a beta that seems unlikely, remember, mastery lives on the other side of track. Without trying, you can't know for sure how it feels in the positions themselves, and how it feels moving from and through those positions. The women faced a super similar boulder, delicate first section with a bold last section. There were several sequences for the first slab. Agaf crosses the left leg over on the outside, while Fanny tried to cross inside and falls, but executes it at the next try. Lily steps on the further foot first, which makes coming in left foot much easier, but this creates a new problem. She did something clever here. She recognizes that slipping is more likely if her weight is on the right, so she establishes the right foot static, counterbalancing with her torso and arms, with her weight applied straight down. But she still needed to shift her weight to the right, and applying left foot's force on the left facing left foot is super risky, which is why she still slipped, but not impossible, just risky. 2 climbers did this configuration without slipping. The final dynamic move was technically demanding. The Agaf generated powerfully, lands dead center of the 2 holes, but look how far her torso is away from the wall, making it brutal to maintain the compression. Fanny generates with one arm, allowing her body to be more square and closer to the wall, but this severely limits her generation power. In the next attempt, with more commitment and a powerful knee kick drive, she went way further, almost taking it, if not for her right foot slipping. This was the ultimate do-or-die boulder, the boulders engineered to separate champions from the rest, designed to be brutally demanding both physically and mentally, but the outcome might surprise you. Now, Man's 3 intended sequence was just preposterous, a hop to a no-text jump, into a technical cross to a super bad sloper pinch. Now comes the insane part. Going from one bad sloper pinch to another bad sloper pinch, this requires incredible strength and precision in generation. Generate the slightest bit off, and excess momentum will peel you off. Pull on when you're not fresh enough, and your generation will be off. But we're not finished. Even with landing perfectly still between the two slopers, now what? You're supposed to initiate a big swing and do a lâcher towards the next position on holes barely able to resist lateral force. In the end, no one executed that method in 4 minutes. But they did do something else. What do you do when the holds are bad? Skip them. Harness using a big backwards kick, matching the hole at the apex of the swing, then a big lâcher all the way to the next no-text jump. Okay, whoops, the no-text is a bit slippy. If only there was some way to fix that. Ooh, but it worked. Using biological excretions to clean the chalk off his hands, he avoided slipping. Paul did this hack too, and even without footage of him doing the move, if you observe the shadow here, he generated a big swing similar to Hannes. Max avoided the gross pre-attempt preparations, but lâchered from right hand on the sloper instead of both hands on a no-text jump. Now this was super cool. Pivoting around a shit sloper like this is so mind-blowing. His execution was just beautiful. Where the setters traumatized the man physically, here they tried to inflict maximum confusion with a Picasso-like splatter of micro crimps. In a way, this mimics outdoors climbing, where it is not immediately obvious which holes you can or should use. But first, the deep dive into the very first move, smearing the wall to establish is actually quite okay. It provides direct and secure opposition to the start undercling. The problem arises when she drives her knee intuitively when reaching for the next undercling. This is a common movement pattern when climbing, pulling on a foothold to drive the knee and hips. But what happens when you pull on a slick flat wall? Compare this with Chloe's execution. Her knee rises too, but she stops pulling with her feet and actually extends it as she continues rising and manages to maintain consistent pressure direction-wise. Many climbers did a high step instead for a more powerful but secure move. Now, the highlight of the boulder, this splatter of holes which to use. Most climbers settle on these two crimps with two hands on the same direction. The foothold provides meaningful opposition, but only when their body is on the left, which creates a real quandary because the next foothold is very much on the right. This got climbers to try a quick stab, which is risky, demanding incredible precision and gentleness. Two climbers found the answer with this rightwards facing crimp. Now, with opposing hands, they are free to release their left foot and reach over to the far foot with more control. Naile ended up using only her thumb on the micro crimp, but unfortunately slipping. And Futaba was at her max extension, barely getting her foot in before securing the only top for this boulder. After the brutal and traumatizing third boulders, the setters wanted to end the finale on a high note, rewarding the men with delicious pinches and the women with a delightfully creative sequence for a nice and sunny feel-good ending. But what actually happened? So the setters wanted to reward the men with a physical pinchy boulder with a balanced difficulty aiming for 3 tops. Let's see what happens. Max's first attempt was incredible. Touching the last hold, he did something with max confidence. Ran the clock down to the last 30 seconds to have the fullest rest, fully believing that one good attempt was all he needed. And this happened. So yeah, no one topped M4. Look how he transitions her right foot slipping into a heel flick. But ultimately, only one woman climbed it from bottom to top. Let's break it down. The climb starts with a nice reach to a high volcano, into a reachy hop to an edge. Futaba campus crosses, and brought her right leg up to toe. She releases her left hand into the black side pool, changes the toe to a heel, and bumps the right hand further left, positioning her to go left again to the side jump. She changes back to her toe, adjusts it leftwards, before releasing her right hand, crossing over to this black hold. She instantly fell off and goes back right to the big hold. Notice how her right toe slips in the process, but she toes hard and barely saves it. She can now release the toe and step left, matches feet for better balance and smearing position, and sinks down. Here, she's probably at least 60% pumped. How do I know? Before this, the sequence was very right hand intensive, and for a clear indicator, the pinky slips out. She reverses her drop knee to adjust and try to get it back in, but it refuses to go back in. And she's like, screw it, I'm gonna have to do this with a drag. She locks in her drop knee and pushes up with composure. Then she releases her center of gravity as left and out as the drop knee allows. Then she cuts with the most insane shoulder roll, weights her foot and isolates her left hand before releasing her right hand and shooting up while eyeing the hold intensely. And then faces the crowd with the most dazzling smile. What a champ. What I didn't tell you is her victory didn't begin in triumph. At first, she stumbled through the worst 4 minutes of any competitor, flailing spectacularly and ultimately failing to reach the top, falling behind 3 other climbers. But she refused to let that moment define her, returned with renewed focus, climbing as if Women's One never happened. The next time you face a setback, remember, it's not the moment you fall that matters, but your choice to reset mentally and move forward unburdened by what came before.